Hey guys, bit of a Wednesday update. Like I say, I've done a bit of a review on that Jeep, and I thought I'll just start doing, when I get a spare few minutes of a week, I'll start doing a bit of my project. I will add them separate, but little bits of work like this, I'll just like to add them into my weekly vlog, and it keeps us all up to date. Sorry, the phone rang there, as you probably heard. So yeah, just trying to do a few jobs to the Mondeo while I've got time. It's after 5 o'clock. 20 minutes, and I want to get back home through the woods with the dogs while it's dry. So I thought I'll do a few jobs on this because I needed to get that caddy van back, and with the traffic lights being on, it takes bloody ages. And Holly's dad was desperate to get back to work because he was running late, so I thought, wait, I'll just bring my Mondeo, drop the van off to him, bring the Mondeo back to the garage and do these few jobs. So I'll just switch it round. First up, before I go through anything, I must say, it looks a hell of a lot better. So since you've seen it last on the video, I've MOT'd it. So it's got a full year's MOT on. Like I've said, the tyres were a bit ropey, but as you can see, it's got those nice new rims on, which have cleaned up nicely. I haven't painted them or anything. I just simply washed them and just put a bit of gel on them. Like I've said, not too much, because I don't want to even get any other brakes, but just to clean them up. As you can see, brand spanking new snow tyres all round, and they're a bigger profile. These are when I find it, 215 55 16s. The other ones were 205, so they're a much nicer, wider stance to the tyres now, which is better, bit more grip. So yeah, nice new chunky snow tyres. And I don't know if it's just me, I was going to get some wheel trims, but I think it looks a little bit more, what's the word, agricultural, utilitarian, whatever you want to call it. I just think it looks a little bit more kind of suiting of the vehicle. I think maybe a set of wheel trims on it may make it look a little bit more kind of meh. I think it just looks a bit more roughy tufty. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's grown on us. I've got rid of the rusty wheel nuts, got the chrome ones, the proper ones that fit these. Nice new rims off a much newer car. 4 new snow tyres, which, like I've said, are great for mud all year round for the miles I'm doing with it. And I think it's tidied right up. Like I've mentioned, I got on and put 2 new indicator bulbs in it on the back, so they're nice and orange. 2 new stoplight bulbs, because one was out, and that's that. I'll show you, but again, I don't know why, but the orange shows up a little bit funny on camera. That I'm going to show you is lovely, pure orange. And obviously the stoplights are working properly as well. Painted the exhaust tip while I was on, as I showed you. I'll just knock these indicators off. Oh, yeah, that's what I've done as well. Couple of quid off eBay. And now I've got full auxiliary, which comes out the glove box. Switch it on, and it'll tell you auxiliary input. There we go. So now my phone holder there. Got all my hands-free, calling, music, everything. As standard, not bottom of the range, but not far off. LX Mondeo, factory fitted, auxiliary input. Cruise control, what more do I want? Can't argue with that. Right, that was that. The bulb's done. Where was I at the back here? That's the boot buddy in with nothing in the back. Absolutely monstrous boot on this. Fantastic. I can fit the pram in, week shopping, 2 dogs, no bother. I love these cars for this. They're a proper estate, and like I've mentioned, these shitty new estate cars that cut right off at the back, like the here, they're not estates, they're coupes. Either leave them as an estate with a flat back, unfortunately not quite as flat, definitely Astra G wins it for nice flat back. It's exactly what you want for load space. But mind, the Mondeo is pretty much almost as flat. But I don't know if you guys agree with me here. You know the shape of the Mondeo, the other one that sold the other day, the hatchback version of this. I've always preferred the Mondeo Estates better than the saloons and the hatchbacks. I love these lights that come up here, just for safety reasons. I like the fact the stoplights are right high up on the vehicle, there, and obviously the mid one, and your indicators as well are nice and high up. I don't know about you guys, leave a message below in the comments. I will get back to you, I'm just running a bit behind on time for doing messages. I do think the Mondeo Mark III Estate is the best looking one out there, and clearly the most practical one out there. So that's that done. The wheels, I've showed you that auxiliary input. These, I tried changing the bulb in the one at the other side, smashed to bits. the bit behind it, and this is actually not working at the minute. As you can see, it's all loose. So I went onto eBay, and you can get, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, about a tenner or something. I've got the factory fit shape ones with LEDs in them for a tenner. So I've just got to wait. They should be here tomorrow, I hope. Get them put in, and we'll have nice clear side indicators. I've had the front headlamps out on it, because the two side light bulbs were on and off. If you give them a tap, they would work. The bulbs were just getting burnt out. 2 new fresh bulbs in the front, and I also did the ducts back on them. They've done quite a good job. It looks a lot better, so I'm happy with that. As I've mentioned, I've serviced it, so oil and filter, high flow air filter, pollen filter was absolutely minging, which was in there, and I'm just busy on now, because like I mentioned previously, my suppliers are wanting crazy money for these, and I'm just getting exactly the same one off eBay for next to nothing. Proper original Delphi one, and the injectors and fuel pump on these are actually Delphi. So I'm going to just quickly show you, once I've gone through a few other things, what we're doing. This unit here has to be removed, but I must stress with these Mondeos, fuel filters, pre-fill them with diesel, and also use a suction device. Do not put one of these on dry. You will never get them started, and you'll burn out the fuel pump when you run it dry. So definitely not. Quick little lineup. 115. Right, they did these in a few versions, not many. You got your 2 litre TD. Wait, first up, you got your 2 litre TDDI. They are probably the best, most reliable ones. The ones where they're not common rail and they're just direct injection with an electronic pump. They were few and far between. They did them, I think, in 115 and maybe a 130. After the facelift, after 03, they moved to these ones, which was your TDCI, common rail. You got your 115, 2 litre, you got your 130 2 litre, then you got your 2.2, 155, 115. Now, reliability-wise, this one is probably the best of the lot. Mainly, you've got your 5-speed gearbox, which is beautiful in this. You don't even have a mass airflow sensor, if you notice, it's missing on these. Why? Because the EGR valve on them is electronic little sensor in it, but you can't blank them off, because these, mainly on a lot of diesels, all the mass airflow sensors used for is to monitor the exhaust gas recirculation, but with this, they put a sensor in to do that job, so you just blank off the intake, which I've done with a plate, and the sensor still detects it moving, but no gas is going in. There is no flow sensor, because this is just Euro 3. Now, what this hasn't got either on here is a turbo actuator. Like, what you have is a VNT, like a variable nozzle turbo, variable vane, whatever you want to call it, variable geometry. This one is just a fixed vane. It's only just run off its own vacuum pressure, so there's no like solenoids, no pressure converters. It's just a straightforward wastegate, and that's all it's got, and they never ever go wrong. I think this one had a replacement turbo at about 130,000, but that, so I heard from the previous keeper, was due to I think something got in or something he mentioned, but anyway, it got a brand new turbo on, proper Ford one, so that's good news. But these are just so much better. You get the 130s for the sake of 15 brake horsepower. Yes, you get variable vane geometry turbo, but they're a lot more bother. You get your Euro 3 ones, which look very similar to this basically, but with this one, the wastegate, I can't really show you on camera, goes straight down. Like, the ones on the variable vane ones go straight down, and on this one, this bar behind, there's a bar behind there. Don't know if you can see that if I shine the torch in. See that bar just at the back? I'll see if I can, just here, right in behind there, that just moves back and forwards. Just basically an old-fashioned wastegate, vacuum-controlled turbo. Nothing on it whatsoever technical to go wrong. Yes, it's the TDCI, it's got your common rail injectors. They've been done, it's had 4 new reconditioned injectors in, so regularly change your fuel filter and use good diesel, they're no bother. And I'm telling you, these things pull like a train, no bother. The old saying, they do. The 115s, the only difference is they've got the fixed vane wastegate turbo, but I find they give you the old-fashioned boot in the back of power. Like, it's like you put your foot down, you wait a little bit, and then boof, and then next one, you wait a bit, boof, where the variable vane ones can adjust when the turbo kicks in, so you kind of get the turbo across the full bandwidth of the rev range, where with these ones, you have what you call your turbo band, and I quite like that, because it's more old school driving, much more reliable, and actually when you get used to it, a lot better, because you know when you're going to get that big boot in the back, so you have a little bit of turbo lag, You get the boot in the back, and then you know to change gear. And I love it. I think it works really, really well on these engines. Another idiot going by there. 20 mile an hour zone. Kids out. 5 o'clock. Pathetic. Honestly, I don't know what areas it's like where you guys live, but it is seriously going downhill around here. So many inconsiderate idiots about little Ben just gone by there on a little scooter going to the shop. Can't have been more than my son Charlie, 5, 6 year old. Some idiot, you heard him going down there. Crazy. Speed bumps as high as you like, and they have it as a challenge how much they can bottom out their cars and jump over them. 60, 70 mile an hour, daily occurrence down there in the 20 zone. School right next door to it. Those plants just there, that's a school. Madness. Anyways, back to the car. So yeah, thought I would give you a little bit of an update on what it is, and also the Euro 4s have all the more electronic actuators on the turbo, not vacuum, and they're nothing but bother, and the vanes on them soot up and everything. These you don't have any bother whatsoever. They're just an old-fashioned rod, piston, that's it. You know, you got your actuator rod onto a wastegate, no problem. And it actually just uses the vacuum from the turbo side of things to determine when it kicks in and out anyway, so there's not even any control on it, it's all mechanical. Right, enough yapping. So I think I've gone through everything. Like I say, I'm waiting for them indicators. They've got the fuel filter there. I've done the rest of the service. Oh, I've gone around and just touched a few little marks in with a Sharpie pen. Paint was missing here, along the bumper. I've touched them in. There was quite a big chunk of white there. Just tidying it up. But what do you think about the wheel trim situation, guys? I think it looks perfectly rugged enough as it is, with the big chunky tyres, wider wheels. I think it looks the part. Not a bad car whatsoever. And do you know what it is? I've done, let's say on the Speedo, no, I think I've done about 200 mile or more this weekend in it. Bar a little bit of chatter on the flywheel. Absolutely great. And like I mentioned, subframe out of a 20,000 mile car on it. All new springs, shockers, everything, bottom arms, new rear discs and pads and calipers, brand spanking new just the other week. Brand spank, as you can see in there. Good car. Just a good car. So, what I'm going to show you now, I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Let's just check we're going the right way. Slacking. Just turn that up a bit. So, what we're going to do is, to get the fuel filter, is remove this unit here. So, you need a 13 and an 8. So, the 13, and just a warning, do not do this if you've got your car on a lift, because you'll drop your whole shocker off, because what you've got to do is take the 3 shocker mounting points off. So, excuse for your ears. By the way, I'm right-handed, and I don't know why, I have to hold my phone with my right hand, so it kind of makes things a bit awkward. So there we go, those off. Just put them up here, out the way. The other one, I've stupidly left it in the gun. Just decided to get stuck. See, this is the difficulty, doing stuff for one hand. Just a simple job like this becomes awkward. So that's that one off. Then there's 2 here. Other one. Must say, these Milwaukee guns are fantastic. This thing can do up a wheel nut tighter than what you could probably do it by hand. It's unbelievable. Get this one off. Just be careful not to drop nothing. Now we need to switch over to the 2 little 8 millis. Right, so on with these. Next one. Just take your time, obviously, with them. They're just little 8 mils. I obviously wouldn't tighten them with that gun. I forgot how difficult it is working left-handed. And this whole unit here just comes off. It's just like a strut support. And now that gives you perfect access to the fuel filter. Now, I'm not going to really record doing this. All you do is you just pop that spring off. It lifts up. Take the 3 pipes off. Remember the order you put them in. But make sure you pre-fill the new filter with fresh diesel. And once you've got the pipes connected, what you do is you see the little arrows. It'll be easier showing you on the new filter. See how you've got your out and your in? So what you want to do is connect the in one, this one, connect your bypass one, which is for your leak back from your injectors, and this one that's going out, you leave that one off, you connect the vacuum to it. So what that's doing is that's drawing the diesel from the tank to the intake, which is that's telling you intake, so it draws the diesel into there, fills the whole filter, and then starts drawing out there. Then when it starts coming out of there, you've already filled the filter. Then you connect the pipes back up and just let it run. Job done. So I'm going to crack on now, get this changed, and I might just show you on the new startup when we've got it fitted. Right guys, just to show you, so obviously what I connect is, I use this, and I have this little pipe that I've had for years, and all I do is I put that pipe onto the end of the vacuum pump. As you can see here, these little tabs just push out with a screwdriver, so you've got one on each, that one, and the red one down there. So obviously you connect these two up and you secure the clips, and what you do is you just pop this one onto there, onto that, which is the perfect size, and obviously the other side onto there, and you just let it go, and you hear it like buzzing. It draws the diesel through, and as soon as you start seeing it flooding into there, you stop, because diesel's expensive. And then just simply, I put that away, which I've just done now. You pop the pipe on, as so, then you just simply clip across. I just want to show you, that's it, and they're on now. So the only thing I'm going to do is a little bit of diesel goes down near the alternator. I'm going to spray some brake cleaner down there to clean it up, and then we'll fire it up. You're okay to start it up without this unit on, so I'm going to pause it now, clean that up a little bit, and then we'll fire it up. Sometimes they cut out, other times you've got to try them a bit, other times they just run perfect. What you don't do is start them up and start revving the balls out of them, because you will cause an airlock doing that. What I tend to do is just start it up and just up the revs to about 1200, which I'll show you. And by the way, that prop's in there because those little struts aren't great. And the other day when I was doing the headlamps, the bonnet nearly bloody cracked me skull. So we had an old broom in the garden, an old shank, that gets kept in the boot now. For also 2 reasons. 1, it's good to keep the bonnet up. 2, if anybody starts getting funny, you've got something in the car to help you out, and you've got a legitimate excuse to be carrying it. Because I would just say to any copper, open the bonnet on that car and shove your head under the bonnet for a couple of minutes and see how long it takes you to get a fractured skull when that comes crashing down on your head. And no, I'm not buying new struts, because I'm drawing the line at what I'm spending on this car. For how often I'll be under the bonnet, that does. So there we go. I'm just going to get that cleaned up with some brake cleaner. Right then, so there we go. Just move everything out the way, obviously. That's not in the way of nothing. Obviously, I've moved everything off there. Now we're going to fire it up, check that it runs okay. And secondly, just check there's no leaks. It is a little bit damp still with some brake cleaner, but it won't do any harm. So we're going to just give it its first start when I grab the keys. Oh, that's something else. I bought 2 Duracell. Do my head in. It's either a dodgy remote or something, or the battery's going flat, but I'm getting 2 Duracell 2032 batteries for a couple of quid posted. I'm hoping they'll be here tomorrow, and I'm going to strip both keys down, put new batteries in. If I find any loose batteries, try and just with a tiny little bit of cardboard, keep them pressed down, so I've got 2 working keys. One of them does work okay, the other one doesn't at all. They both start the engine. It's just annoying when you've got the kids and you're faffing on with this or having to come round and use the key. So first up, obviously make sure it's in neutral, ignition on. Like I've mentioned with common rails, don't worry about the preheat, but I still like to let all the lights reset in neutral and fire it up. And what we'll do is, we'll just keep a few revs on, not revving the balls out of it, just let it start first. It might cut out. It's fine. And just a few revs, just above 1000. Just about there. Nothing more than that. Normally give it about 15 seconds like this, just to let it prime the air through and get any bits of air out. And that's enough. By now, if it was going to cut out, it would have cut out. And there we go, we'll just check for leaks. Nothing. And that might sound loud, but trust us, that is the quietest Duratorque engine I have heard in a long, long time. It is just glorious, actually. That little bit of squelching noise down there is actually just on the belt. I'm going to clean that up while it's running, actually, because a little bit of diesel's got onto it. But 207,000 mile. Trust us, that's one of the best sounding engines you'll get for one of these with this mileage when you listen to it. Absolutely great. And do you hear that little like beeping noise? That means the injectors are working perfectly. If you just listen after I let off the revs, you'll hear it sounds like a dialing tone going dee 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 dee, like that. Ready? There. There. Heard that? Ding 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 noise like that? That's registering the diesel, the leak back from the injectors. And the more beep 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 you get, the more unhealthy the injectors are. Now, I'm just going to switch this off. You just hear it there when you turn it off, you hear a little ding. It just sounds like a dialing tone. And the more kind of ding, 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 or whatever noise you want to call it, you get on them, that's how unhealthy your injectors are. That's just my way of years of knowledge with these. And with this, it is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Just when you let off, that's when your main leak back comes. The most amount of fuel leaks back off the injectors, monitored through the fuel pump, and obviously back into the fuel filter and back to the tank. The more beep, beep, beep you get, that's too much leak back, which you don't want. Or when it's idling, if it's continuously making that beeping noise, you're getting too much leak back. Hence, you get a leak back test for the injectors, and the ones that flow the most, you don't want any of that. You should only get that beeping, pinging noise for a matter of a second or two after you let off the throttle. And this, or anything on idle, and this is perfect. Like I've mentioned, it's had all 4 injectors reconditioned to a high standard, so very healthy engine. This doesn't burn any oil. If there's a tiny little leak, if you remember when I said I put in the leak sealer, I've done 200 mile or so this weekend. That is absolutely bone dry under there, so it's definitely worked, that stuff. So yeah, there we go, fuel filter done. Just thought I'd show you that. I'm just going to do the reverse of taking it apart, put it back together, clean a bit more of that diesel up, job done. So I might show you later in the week when I get, if these batteries come, the side repeaters, I can't remember what else I'm with. Oh, yes, those wipers I was telling you about. Those are just a bit naff. Excuse me. They're just getting a bit naff. And like I mentioned, they're going to be over £25. I'm getting them for £7 odd, £7.60 something posted for genuine Bosch ones. So it'll be whatever size this is, I think a 20 and a 22 on the drivers with the spoiler, because I'm meant to have the spoiler on from new. Just for the sake of getting it, I'm getting it. Because I like to be able to see where I'm going in the rain. Unlike a lot of people, just drive around completely blind. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's not overly good. But I do know these damn things are expensive on these Mondeo estates. As I remember getting that Bosch one, they're about £7 or something for that tiny little thing. So that might just have to wait for now. That'll probably get on me wick too much to the point I will end up ordering one. But I'm going to get the part number from my local suppliers, and then I will check on eBay, and I can guarantee I'll probably end up getting it for a couple of quid, over paying nearly a tenner probably to them. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much done for today. Get this back together. It's coming up 5:45 now. I said I wanted to be home. I want to get the dogs, walk through the woods, and have a chill night. So yeah, catch you tomorrow. I've said this about 5 times. Catch you tomorrow on Thursday's vlog. Hello and welcome back to Thursday's vlog. And a lovely morning. I've had a good walk through the woods this morning with the old dog. Hunter stays at home. This is his day off. Well, it's more not so much his day off, it's Harvey's day to have a break from the harassment. I'll swing you around and there we go. He's had a good walk, haven't you? Eh? This is your day of peace, day of rest. This is the equivalent of his Sunday, isn't it? So there we go. I just thought I'd show you what's in the day. First up, actually I'll grab the keys for the other one just while I'm here. I've got is this Suzuki Vitara. Now, as you all know, I really do not like the new Suzuki range at all, any of them. But I will say, I don't mind this Vitara. The prices that they cost, I most certainly wouldn't own a one. But I'll show you it when it's down. I would say I would own it. Probably over a lot of other cars of this size. For a couple of reasons. Mainly, they've kept up the heritage of being a proper four-wheel drive. I mean, it is just electronic, but you know, you've got your old-fashioned prop, an electronic diff, but they have got loads of settings on these which have been proven that they do work, but it's all just very lightweight stuff, you know. And you've got to remember, which a lot of people, Alistair, you're a big fan of the guy who brings the L200 in. He used to have the little Jiminy's and stuff. And Suzuki can make an alright off-road car. They're nothing heavy duty. I mean, those tiny little drive shafts. But what you've got to remember is keep the car light in the first place, and you've got the good means of a good off-road car. Big heavy cars are no good off-road. It's actually the little lightweight stuff that you find are good, hence the Jimny and quite a few other ones. But yeah, but like I've said, full four-wheel drive system on these with a lot of really good options. It's got all of the headlight monitoring, but I believe this all works with the off-road system as well for the adaptions. Like I've said, the only big thing I will say about these Vitaras and any Suzuki are the parts are an absolute joke. I mean, we've got the parts here from our main massive I think they're about a worldwide company now. I got the oil filter, but I could not get an air filter. One obsolete company had to actually get this in directly from the maker. And I mean, it's a 67 plate car. It's not that new. That I don't know what it is, but there's something queer going on to get a hold of Suzuki parts. And even when you've got to get them from the dealers, they are insane prices. So that's the only thing I will say about them. Apart from the majority of them, they look awful. But this actually does, in my opinion, look okay. I'm seeing here it's got an intercooler. So it's some kind of turbocharged petrol. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've worked on this. I'll get to that when we open the bonnet. But yeah, the usual plastic underneath. But they have made everything nice and uniform. If you look, there's nothing sticking down too far along that line for when you're off-road. Really just this back diff, which I think really should have had some protection on it. But yeah, there's a few things this is going to be getting checked. Number one, obviously checks it's in for MOT. Number two, to get the service, oil and filter and air filter. The tyres on it, I've already told her about. Really, with these four-wheel drives, you should have all four matching tyres to keep the system right. But this car got bought from a garage, and it's got a snow tyre on the front left. Some cheapy thing, which is getting quite worn on the front right. It's got another relatively cheap branded tyre on this side at the back, and then it's got a brand spanking new tyre at this side, which that will be doing absolutely no favours whatsoever for the four-wheel drive system. I did warn the lady of this when she first bought the car, but then again, that's me saying this, but in reality, to just go out and, I mean, like I've said, back then that snow tyre was brand spankers, the one at the back was new, and these two at this side were okay. To go out and just get four tyres like that, it is a big step for anybody, even myself. I probably would, because I know how much danger, damage and stuff it can cause when it blows up your diff, but it's a lot of money to spend, isn't it? Just because a mechanic says so, and it's not like I'm making money from it, it's just my advice. So yeah, I kind of see why she maybe wouldn't have, but yeah, that's a bit of an issue with the vehicle. In fact, saying that, it's coming up with a tyre pressure issue, and it may well could be to do with this carry-on actually, because these don't use sensors, I don't believe, in the rims. They use the ABS, so the ABS might be picking up that there's a brand spanking new tyre at the back. I'm pointing at me face. That there's a brand spanking new tyre at the back, a worn one here, a worn one there, and it alters all the tolerances. So what we'll do is we'll reset the light. I think with these you've got to drive them to reset them, and if that doesn't go, I'll send it up to Stake for tyres. They can check. They're the more experts of that. Check to see if it's got the sensors in the wheels. If not, if it's run on the ABS, I would maybe suggest to the customer, it's got a new general, like I say at that rear left, is maybe get 3 generals and get all 4 tyres the same, because that can affect your ABS, because the tyre circumference of a new tyre is different to a worn tyre, which obviously upsets the ABS readings, making it think it's got a flat tyre. So that's how it works, by the way, in case you don't know. Naturally, a tyre that's fully pumped up has got a larger diameter circumference, whereas a flat tyre is smaller. Naturally, when you blow them up, they expand. So you've got to think, there's not that much in it between a flat tyre and a fully inflated tyre, to the difference between having a full tread of a new tyre to an almost baldy tyre of a worn tyre. So that's what it can do. It can sometimes pick up and think it's got a flat tyre, when it hasn't. It's just got a worn tyre, which is another reason why I say as well, not so much four-wheel drive cars with tyre pressure monitoring that work off the ABS. Make sure you've got the all 4 matching. Try to keep it as best as you can by rotating them, matching tread tyres. Again, there we go, there's modern technology for you. You know, having to get new tyres just to keep a tyre pressure monitoring system happy. But there you go. Anyways, I'm going to leave that here. I'm just going to pause it, and then when I bring it down, I'll show you a bit under the bonnet and what we're doing under there. Yeah, so now it's on the ground. I'll show you it better when it's off the lift and outside later on, because I want to get on and do a few jobs. But yeah, I've just had to check, to be quite honest. So it's a 1600 turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is nice to see. 140 brake horsepower engine. Now, I would have this thing all day long. Timing chain, no crappy belt to worry about. Again, it's direct injection. There's your high pressure fuel pump. All new petrols are. So it's like a diesel, it's like a common rail. So you got high pressure injectors, high pressure fuel pump, direct injection. But just wanted to show you, you know those few I've had in, like a Toyota, of all things, I'm pulling the Toyota to bits, the car, the BMW and everything. This one, clean finger. Where's the exhaust? Other side, I think. Let's have a look. Yep, there's the exhaust. Not bad at all. Tiny little bit of soot around the edge, but inside, like new. I must say, I call Suzuki in a lot of ways, but they do, always have done, make good engines. And for some reason, the way they make the engines as well, which I don't know how other manufacturers can't manage, you can get to everything. Turbo wastegate, you've got all the, you know, like vacuum control pipes here, nice and easy. Air filter, you've got to take that off. But bar that, I've got it loosened off. Map sensor, you know, the turbo itself, you know, just right there. It's, you know, there'll be obviously odd jobs to do. A gear linkage, you can get to that. So yeah, they do kind of make them very, very easy and simple, but yet they still have the same power output and better reliability than the so-called top-end stuff, you know, like your Audis and your BMWs and your Mercedes. Down there, you've got your variable valve timing solenoid. You can't ask for better than that, can you? All the belts nice and easy. Loads of space here around the ABS pump. You know, what more can you want? There's the ECU, fuel evaporating system, the evap system. It's just, you know, like the cat and everything. It's just all nice. I mean, the spark plugs, to get to them, yes, you've got to take all that unit off, but the B iridiums, and I can guarantee it'll be only probably every 60,000 mile or something daft like that. So that's the least of your worries. But yeah, happy days. I think that, thumbs up, cracking engine, in a good car. Just the price of parts, and it's not all good, because I'm going to start criticising it soon, don't worry. I do even like this little bit of red in the LED headlamps. It's quite nice, you've got your running lights, but there's one thing on this car which is an absolute disgrace, is some absolute idiots designed this. It's got 3 clocks in, according to the lady, and I tried, you know, I'm good with me technology, as you see, is working with every day, and this car beat me now. You've got your big clock in the middle there, you've got your clock in the centre of the dash, and you've got your clock on your entertainment system, and for some reason they're all separate. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare to try and do it, and even had me scratching my head. The instruction book didn't tell you. I went online. I did manage last time somehow, but I don't know what I did. I really can't remember, but it's now currently 10:15, and as you can see, that's not correct. I'm not going to switch it on because there's no oil in. That one wasn't correct, and there's something in there not correct. But interior-wise, really nice. It's like a brushed sort of stainless steel look with the word all grip at the end, which is nice. Nice seats as well. They're really nice with the red stitching, half like Alcantara type stuff in leather. I'm not sure if they're heated or not. I can't see any. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that, but it's got loads of fancy tech. You've got radar, cruise control, like distance, speed limiter, all of the kind of usual collision control, hill descent for the 4-wheel drive system. That's just like a good thing. Do you know what it is? My Mitsubishi L200 didn't even have that. Parking sensor deactivate, electric folding mirrors, the proper 4-wheel drive system, again a bit like the L200s kind of thing, like this new electronic stuff, but they are actually good as well, with the button, lock and diff. It's just a centre lock and diff, but it's got all the stuff that the big 4-wheel drives have. There are a big set of chunky tyres on this, like are decent off-road tyres, and do you know what it is? It'll be a little mountain goat. The only downside I will say to it, I think they could have made it, the back end a bit longer, like more of an estate car than chopping it off. It just makes it that little bit too small for me. So it's, yeah, it's a Vitara S, like all grip, which is their like 4-wheel drive, obviously. Is it a self-opening tailgate or not? No. It's just a contactless. Still a reasonable sized boot, but it would have been nice, I think, to have brought the back end out a bit more. Then it would have been a really thumbs up top car to me. And it is nice quality. It's the pearlescent white, which looks really nice. Tinted windows at the back. Nice enough space in the back. You know, it's not trying to compete against the big boys or anything like that. It's just a small / medium size MPV. I'm not big keen on the red and stuff normally, but I could probably live with that, with the red stitching. And I quite like how the red theme's carried out with the headlights at the front, but I like that. Brushed stainless steel. all grip. But I will say the clock design on it is an absolute joke. 6-speed manual. Nice car. And I really, really trust us. You heard my opinion on some of the Suzuki stuff. What do you call them? The new Ignis. Looks horrendous. I'm not joking you. It's got that silhouette of a dog doing a number 2. Honestly, Google the new Ignis and have a look at the back end of that. And if you remember what Jeremy Clarkson said about the Chrysler Crossfire, this thing is even worse. It actually has got the silhouette, the back end of it looks like it's a dog doing a number 2 squatting down. I swear to God. Have a look at one. Horrendous. That was that one we had in last week. What was that called? It wasn't a C. What was it called again? You seen it last week. Do not like the look of them. It has all the other stuff as well now. Some of the newer things. Not keen on. The Swift is okay. But again, the Swift, you're dealing with what you would class as a common car, like a Fiesta or a Corsa. But the parts are an absolute nightmare to get for them, and they cost a fortune, which outright puts me off them. Same with this, really. I like it. I would use one. I would have one on a 3-year deal, but I wouldn't outright pay. I don't know what this thing was probably worth a few years ago, 15 grand, something like that. I just wouldn't when it was out, unless they were in 3-year warranty. I couldn't justify having one of these just purely for that reason, because the price of parts are way beyond a joke. Just quickly, I'll show you this, but I'll actually do a proper look later on, because I'm going to get on and do this. We've got this Campervan in. We've all seen this a few times. It's just in to get a bit of protection sprayed underneath before the winter kicks in, because it's, like I say, it's getting on a bit. It's an O2 plate one. It's had bits of welding done here and there, but I will say these Peugeot Boxer Citroen relays, which is based on the Fiat, forgot what they're called, they don't tend to rot nowhere near like a Transit. Like an O2 plate Transit will be in a heap on the floor getting shoveled up. It will be gone by now. This, the rust a bit around this, the kind of front end bit, but the rear is spot on them. They're like all galvanised like chassis, because what this was just a pickup truck. That's all it was, just a pickup truck. And then obviously they buy them in as just a chassis vehicle, and then they just put the motorhome piece on the back. So the good thing with these is they're quite robust, where a lot of these camper vans, they fabricate the chassis and everything themselves, and I'm just not that keen. I'll always prefer to have as much of the original structure as possible. But yeah, it's just getting a bit hard up, this one. Bit of moss here and there, but over the years I've done all sorts. I've replaced these lights on it. So it's just one of my customers dropping in some money. I didn't realise my dad was on the phone, so he come across. He's the nice fella. He's the one with that Fiesta. Well, I told him not to get it's got the EcoBoost engine in, but he's just like a low mileage one. I think I seen that at the beginning or the end of last week. It was in, just dropping in some money. So yeah, it's had bits and bobs done to it, but just in to get a bit of protection sprayed underneath. Probably just the thick stuff that we don't normally recommend, like the under seal Schultz kind of stuff, just to keep it right. But yeah, it's a nice enough old beast actually. This one, it's a Compass, obviously. That's what my caravan is. My mind's gone blank there. Compass Amiga, yeah. So it's the same brand, I think, unless I'm cracking up, forgetting the own name of my caravan. But I'm pretty sure it is, because it's got a very similar setup, like feel to what my caravan does. But again, the price of these things, I was fancying one myself, but the prices have just gone absolutely crazy through COVID, obviously, and lockdown. But this only had like 20-odd thousand miles on when they got it. It still only got 50,000. Just clicked 50. Now, it feels its age when you sit in here. You kind of know you're dealing with this is on an O2. This was a changeover year before the facelift. So this is like more like a mid-90s kind of feel to it in here. So yeah, that's all the dash. Nothing top end in here whatsoever. Just your absolute basics. A fog light, headlamps, windy windows, no central locking. That's it. No aircon. That's your whack. What I never understand, when these were a lot of money and still are to this day, when the manufacturers started to make them and they bought these vans in, wouldn't it not make sense to have bought the basics vehicle, as in I've told you, it would just be a pickup, like a flatbed with no bed, just a chassis cab, and spec them as top spec, i.e. electric windows, central locking, air conditioning, cruise control, and then convert them. Obviously all that stuff would stay in the cab. Nothing what they do at the back would be affected. I never understand, if anybody out there can tell me, and I've seen this on a lot newer camper vans, and I've seen it right across the board, of camper vans, top end ones, nice ones, not now, the new ones aren't, and they come Billy Basic. But the people who you would blame for that would be Compass, whoever did the conversion. I know, like, you can say that's saving money, but who wants to spend 50 grand on a camper van and not even have cruise control, not even have electric windows, not have central locking, not have air conditioning? I don't get that one, and I never have. Never ever have been able to understand that. Anyways, we'll have a quick look round. It's really nice in here, actually. When you look at it on the outside, you really don't expect this on the inside. It doesn't smell damp. I don't know if this is bringing up justice to like the actual, but I'll just open this blind. Actually, I'll not, because I've just thought I'm not going to walk through the back because it's my feet are muddy. But yeah, nice kitchen area at the back there. It very much feel like what my Caravan does, same brand basically. But yeah, you've obviously got your walk-in bathroom in the corner there, and you've got your wardrobe there. Nice seating area here with 2 seat belts, which obviously makes into a table. You've got your living area above the cab there, which is like a bed, and you've got all this nice storage here and along there. You've got another seating area here, which I would imagine this would go into a double bed, and that would go into a double bed, probably a 4-berth this. Obviously your windows, the bit there and the one at the back. But yeah, I'm not going to walk around too much in here. But yeah, it's just generally a nice old camper, and I really do like it, to be honest with you. It's a cracking old vehicle. So yeah, I swing that's that. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get on with the Vitara, and I'll come back to you when this is up on the lift. And yes, this does go on the lift, and I'll show you when it is on the lift. And I'll show you when we're trying to set the clock and the service light on this Vitara. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Right guys, quick update on Thursday. Like I've said, the Vitara here. Going to have a quick walk around it, along with another vehicle of interest. This video is going to be quite long this week, but if I've got content to put on, I will. I hope you enjoy it anyways. So, the Vitara. I do like it. I'm not going to lie, for a little SUV, I like it. The only thing is, I would like it to be a little bit bigger, and I think it would be a good car, like I've just previously mentioned. Now anyways, I've already gone through about the engine, all the rest of it, done the service, it's in for MOT. There's one thing I've got to look at, is the tyre pressure monitoring, and looking at the clocks, which I've mentioned to you. So I've already showed you more or less around the outside of it in the garage. Just thought I'd do a quick walk around while it's outside. And it's a cracking looking little car, I think, for once, because the rest of these things look pretty much awful. So anyways, I've gone totally about the engine and that. We're going to go inside. I want to show you what I mean by the clock situation in here. Again, I'm stuck with this sun. I'm going to have to turn around the car. In fact, we're going to switch over to the Outlander because the guy needs to take it away. I'll come back to you on the Suzuki. So, this is a top-of-the-range Outlander. I forgot what they actually call it. The actual spec. I think, is it not written somewhere? Elegance. Now, this thing has got everything. I mean, this car is lovely. I really would like to buy this off the guy when he sells it. First up, I like the back on these, mainly because they've got a split tailgate. If you all remember what a Citroen C crosser and a Peugeot, I think they call it, is it the 7000 or the 6000 or something? That's what these are based on. But what I love about these is they're a 7-seater. 7-seater, proper. Why RAV4 and stuff didn't do this, but this has got the Rockford Fosgate sound system in, huge subwoofer there. That's from the factory. But what I love about these is they've got the drop. This is so good for the dogs. These are such a good car. Unfortunately, they rust a bit like what Mitsubishis do, unfortunately. But if you get one of these with a diesel engine in, you actually get the Volkswagen 2-litre TDI PD engine, which is one of the legendary good engines. So a diesel one of these is cracking. But this is the petrol 2.4. Beautifully smooth, automatic. But I love that idea. Lovely, flat boot. For getting luggage in, dogs in, just to even sit and have a picnic on, and you've got a bit of shelter with that above you. Nice huge boot. which is all you need. And like I've said, it's got the seats in the back, just for kids, but you couldn't ask for more, could you? That goes up, so you can just use it as a conventional boot. So yeah, I love that. Really do give me thumbs up to these cars. I like this colour. LED rear stop lamps and side lights, which I think look good. Remember, this is an old car, 2007 car. It's very top, like, upmarket, you know. I think it looks great, especially with the silver roof bars. Moving round to the rear seats, I'll just show you. It's just going to be quick, this, guys, because the lad's waiting to be away. Not much in the way of rear ventilation, which I thought they would have had on a more premium car. But all nice leather, electric windows. Move round to the front. Obviously, nice looking car at the front there. Got all the extras that you want these, like proper four-wheel drives. I'll show you quickly, just inside, just what I wanted to show. Obviously, it's got reversing camera and stuff. You've all your electric fold mirrors, 4 electric windows, parking sensor deactivate, all them bits and bobs, you know. But you've got your full Rockford Fosgate, as it's shown you. I'm sure it used to say it on the doors up here. Proper Rockford Fosgate sound system. It's got a real nice top-end sound system. Cruise control. This is an automatic. You've got your selective 4-wheel drive system, bit like what that Suzuki's got out there, which is your 4-wheel high, 2-wheel drive, lock and diff. And in a very weird position, you've got your heated seat switches. Obviously air conditioning, climate control, all the usual good stuff. Factory-fitted Bluetooth system, automatic white lights and wipers, nice big sunroof. So really, in all, nice car. Lovely leather seats. Electric leather seats. So yeah, I would definitely have one of these. But there is one thing I want to point out. 2.4 petrol. Automatic gearbox. It is by 2 on the graph of readouts from being £360 tax to being nearly £700 tax. So just be careful. Some of these, if you spec them slightly different or whatever, you will be up shit creek, so be careful. But luckily this one, Mitsubishi, have somehow managed by like 2, whatever that are, micrograms of pollution or whatever it is, just scrapes to be the £360 tax over 670. So there you go, that's a good one to have. The sun's terrible here, so yeah, I'll leave that there for that one. Now I'll just show you this Suzuki on the inside. Now I've turned it round out of the sun. Right, so interior is very nice. You've got everything you need in here. Like I've mentioned, a bit like that Mitsubishi, lock and diff, center diff, auto settings, sport, snow. Quite a good system for a little car, basically. Little off-roader. All your climate control system, all your sat-nav. But the problem becomes with this car is the times. So you are 12:15 there. There is a time there. 12:14, 12:14, and then you've got this analog clock. Now, on here, you've got to change it through this, via settings, via clock. That's not too bad to do. So, happy days with that. But with this caper, you've got to go actually through. See, when it's got this tyre pressure monitoring system, it needs relearned, which means you need to go out and drive it for 15 minutes. Which is a pain in the arse, because I don't have time for that. And even when you go in, you can't get into the settings now, as you can see, to change the reset the service light. So what you've got to do is hold it in, which a lot of people won't know this. Then it goes to white. Then hold it in again. Then see, it goes back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, you've just got to be patient, hold it in, and you're going to eventually get to some kind of settings. So there we go, we're into the settings now. So you've obviously got to go down, which I've already done, to the service reset, which is there, and the tyre pressure monitoring, which I have reset, but they need recalibrated. But what you have to do is you have to go into here into clock settings, and then you set it through that, and basically that adjusts the digital time on there, and it does that. But you try getting somebody of an older generation, or just somebody who generally doesn't know nothing about these things, to work that one out. But when you've got any kind of fault coming up like that, it makes it almost damn impossible to be able to rectify it. So I just thought I'd show you that, guys. Just a little bit of information into there, trying to set these new modern cars up, which are a pain in the bum. So that's that. Anyways, enough talk about the Vitara. That's going now to get the tyre pressures learned, MOT'd. Showed you the Outlander. That's for MOT. It's been up on the lift before. Just a quick walk around. I'll just give you a project update while we're out in our beautiful day. Let us know what you think. I showed you briefly yesterday in the garage, but it was in the garage. This car is thick with dust, by the way, if you look. Absolutely thick with dust. Hasn't been washed since I bought it. And I still think it looks absolutely cracking. Like I've mentioned, I've been around and touched up a few of the bits of scrapes and marks, and I think it looks damn good with them wheels on. Can't complain whatsoever. I'm hoping today, I might show you in tomorrow's vlog, that they're due to be delivered. So I'll get my new side repeaters and the new set of wipers and the key fob batteries, because they're getting a bit naff. But yeah, just shows you this car would have just been took to the scrapyard and made into tin cans, and now it's got a full year's MOT, fully serviced as you've seen us do, ready for the winter with those wheels and tyres, and it's a lovely motorway cruiser, day to day, run about for the dogs. Garage car, you know, just when it's here for the week, so we use it to run around, leave it at customers' houses. It's a weekend car for put my dogs in, tip runs, picking stuff up for Christmas obviously is coming, trips to IKEA, if you see any furniture for the kids or toys, bang, straight away you'll get as much in the back of this as most like vans, basically, like little vans. You drop the back seats on one of these Mondeos. I have actually got a set of roof bars I'm debating putting on it as well. Let us know your thoughts, should I put them on? I've got, if you remember me 406, I've got chrome bars to put on. Debating putting them on this car, just as a bit of a extra if I need to tie anything up there. I would like to put a roof box on, but that's going overkill. But yeah, the interior on it is lovely. I've cleaned it all up, gotten all that crud off the dashboard, all like the dust and everything. I'll show you better at the driver's side, and it's lovely and comfortable. Like obviously I've got my auxiliary port from the glove box to my phone, so I've got music. The A6 doesn't even have that, believe it or not. You can get it to do it, but you need to buy all these fancy leads which cost a fortune and are a right chew on. But yeah, like I've said, now all the dashboard, I've gotten most of like the crud and stuff off there. Windscreen, all the interior windows are cleaned, which did me head in. Obviously you can see the glove box, and all down there was full of crud, which I've cleaned off. My new sun visor. So yeah, just a quick update on the Mondeo. Like I said, I'm hoping my partner's off the day. Ask if there's been any deliveries made. I'm hoping, like I said, key fob batteries changed, side indicators, and my front wipers. The front wipers, I'm not bothered, I'll do that at home. It's a 2-minute job. But this side repeater here, when I started touching it, it's knacked up inside, so actually when I'm not keen for turning out to left junctions and stuff, that this isn't working anymore. It just shows you for an MOT that was working absolutely perfect last week. I touched it and now it's knackered, and that would mean nothing of just somebody walking past and catching it. So I want to get that done. I'm not keen of not having that side indicator. So yeah, that's that done. I'll just go around and show you what we're doing to the Campervan. Just thought I'd show you the camper. We've decided to put this on axle stands because what we're going to be using is this thick black undershull stuff, and it goes all over the lifts, and it just makes a right mess of the garage. So for how much it needs done, we're just getting some axle stands under. We've got some bigger ones to put on. Obviously we're just in the process of doing that. Don't worry, we've got all the heavy duty HGV ones to use. They're just temporary for while we're getting it leveled up. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing with this. But this does, I swear to God, fits on this lift perfectly. But just like I mentioned, I don't want wax oil all over the garage. But yeah, there we go. I'll probably show you a little bit of this maybe when it's done, but you've all seen what it's like when you put that on. Got the big compressor going. Another reason why I like to have the Lango guard going, because you don't need all that noise with the compressor. There's no mess. Such a good product, that. I highly recommend it. But for this case, with these vehicles where rust is setting in quite heavy, the underbody, the Schultz, which I don't recommend, but the customer even knows that it's getting a bit hard up, and you'll be wasting your time putting Lango guard on that, because there's chunks of it keep coming off, you know. It is MOT legit, it's just getting hard up. It's an O2 plate Campervan that stands around a lot. So I'll leave that there. If any deliveries come, I'll show you on the Mondeo any updates, and I might do a quick update on the camper when it's done. Catch you soon, guys. Just show you a quick update on the van. I've been just letting it dry off there now. I'll show you underneath. So obviously what I've done is, my usual, I've just covered these edges with the brush. I'll show you the other side. I think the sun's affecting it, so it's all covered there in the wheel arch. I'll just quickly get down, show you underneath, subframe, along the chassis. I've also gone right down to the back, which I'll show you, to the where basically the leaf springs contact the body. Done those. Sprayed a bit along there. This is just a top up, by the way, guys. It's not nothing like a full job. I'll show you this side will be a lot better when we're not being blinded by the sun. Yeah, it's a lot better here. So along these edges, into there, all up in them strut towers. I've done along the front cross beam. I've done the subframe. See, obviously along the what's left of a sill of a doorstep, the actual doorsteps themselves, and again down there. Before anybody asks, no, I will not spray the black stuff on any cars, so don't ask. This is just a very good customer, and as you can see, we're doing it on my hands and knees outside on the floor. So no, I won't. It's just we just don't get involved with the using the black. We just had that stuff lying round, and this guy's a good customer. I'm not saying anybody else who is a good customer, but it's either clear wax oil or the Lango Guard. That is just not. Plus, this goes in for class 7 MOT with it being so big. So again, when you like to keep it all right, and this van does get used all through the winter, so it's good to protect it. But it's in relatively good nick anyway. So yeah. That's all been done on that. That's it for today. I'll just leave it there. I think the indicators from my Mondeo have been delivered. I might record that or not when I go and get them later on. If not, I'll just add it in on Friday's vlog, because we've done quite a bit of the work, so I'll probably be quite slack tomorrow to get a few bits done, and then I'll be taking that home. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Hello and welcome back to Friday's vlog. Got a bit of a different one in today. There's a bit of a story behind this car and this guy here, Barry. First up, I'll show you what it is. It's a Subaru Outback Legacy. From the top surface, it looks like, this is a proper working vehicle. All it does is tows a horse box back and forward across fields, and that's all it's done pretty much from as long as I can remember. But there is a story behind this, because Barry here, we went to, I'm sure it was Subaru Hexham, wasn't it? That's not Dennis Common, is it? What was the name of them? Is it? Giles Gate. Subaru in Hexham. If any of you guys are from the northeast, you'll know that. Now, if you all remember, the Toyota Hilux that they used to have, very similar to, on Top Gear, the one that got famous, that was a bit older, I think, a G-Reg, but this guy, Barry, had a Y-Reg Toyota Hilux. I actually remember the reg, just not the numbers. It was Y something 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 NEN. Yeah? And it was a red one, and I went with Barry and his wife and the kids and everything to across. I don't know why I went. I think I went because I was driving the truck back, wasn't I? Aye. And one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, and agreed by Barry, was he wished he hadn't sold that truck. I don't know what mark of Hilux it was, but it was the Y-Reg. It was double carb, but it was the rare kind ones. You hardly ever see them. They were never very common for some reason in that shape. But anyways, I don't know why on earth I didn't buy it for. I have no idea why. And Barry wishes he hadn't sold it. But that's not a diss against this car, because it's been absolutely great for him. So there's a little bit of a story behind Barry. I met Barry years ago through, again, like my caravan. My parents used to have a caravan, and they parked it down next to Sheepwash River. It's an area where I live. And this guy used to have the horses down there, and that's just how we got to meet him. And I mean, I was like Charlie, just about Charlie's age running about when Barry met us. So it's nice to have people to come in and, from many decades really, been coming in new. So anyways, onto the Subaru. Like I mentioned, he's got another car that he uses, a newer one. Civic still, is it? You got your Civic, or you get rid of that?
It's a Suzuki now.
Suzuki now. He's got a proper car that they use for their family use. This, as you can see, is a working vehicle. All it does is tow a horse box across a field. And as we all know, I'll bring it down shortly, these things are absolutely no joke when it comes to being off-road vehicles. I've actually spoken to people who know that these things with some chunky tyres on and a few little adaptions can absolutely eat the big boys off-road. Literally, I've actually seen these things doing crazy things off-road that you wouldn't think an estate car can do. This has got the optional extra, the low range as well, which I'll show you in the car. These are very popular again in Australia, and I know a lot of my viewers, weirdly, are from New Zealand and Australia, and yous will know you don't drive some heap of crap through the outback of Australia unless you know it's a good car, and you guys will know that. Barry has got a question for you, because I have actually No, I have got a lot of viewers from there. This panel here on the other side are almost impossible to find in the UK. If any of you guys are from New Zealand or Australia, where I know these cars are common, the left-hand rear door trim panel, even if it's not in the right colour, do any of you guys know of one, have one, or can send me any links of where you can get them from, where they'll obviously post ship to the UK. So that's that anyway. I just want to show you underneath, clearly tow bar, very well used. That's what these vehicles are for, basically. You go up into any rural area and this is what you're going to see, an Outback, simple as that. So underneath, first up, the first issue that the guy had with it are these exhausts. Obviously they're twin pipes. He had to go to the stainless steel place and get a long life, because Subaru were going to charge insane money and there was no aftermarket parts available. So it's got a stainless steel silencer. I'm not sure if any other bits of repairs were done. But we've just been on this year putting a bit of underseal underneath. As I've mentioned, again, with that Campervan yesterday, we already had the equipment out. We don't normally use the black stuff, but we have on this because this car basically sits around a lot and all it does is gets clogged up with mud. But it's in surprisingly good nick for one of these. Really good nick. To the point, I think if Barry was to offer to sell it, I'd probably buy it. But I've already nagged him a few years in a row, but he needs it. And there's nothing that is out there what can do the job, which isn't going to cost him stupid money. As we know, four-wheel drives have gone insane. Last year, it had a lot of work done to it. Brand new front discs and pads. Shard had rear discs and pads over it as well. Rear discs and pads. New bushes on the rear wishbone arms. They were done. Quite a few other bits of tan. I just want to show you, these aren't like your Audi Quattros or your little fake four-wheel drives. I mean, look at this gearbox here. Proper, big, chunky transfer box, low-range box. You know, they're the real deal. They're not like kind of these fake off-roaders. These things really... I mean, look at that size of that prop. That's a proper size prop shaft. Again, leading to do rust these rear diffs. I don't know what material they make them with. They never leak or anything. They just always look really messy. There's your rear diff, and obviously full four-wheel drive. A million arms on the back, because again, that all helps for off-road use and good on-road handling. But when you get a look at the size of the pots, the gas chambers on these shock absorbers, they really are made for load. I'll check the weight plate on it. I'm sure this will probably be able to tow quite a lot for a car, what you would think is this size. So I was just checking with Barry. This obviously has got the legendary Subaru Boxer engine. I just didn't know if it was a 6 or a 4 cylinder, but obviously there's your answer there. So it's a 4 cylinder, 2.5, what they call a flat 4 basically. As you can see there's the heads on the side. In case anybody doesn't know what that actually meant, a Boxer engine. It's not a V6, it's not a straight 6 or straight 4, anything like that. It's actually a full-on sideways engine. It's like a motorbike, basically. Like a big motorbike. You've got your cylinders on the side of the engine, each side. Hence, it's a Boxer engine. It's basically, the pistons are punching into each other like that. So, not directly into each other, but you get the context. So there you go. It's all been coated. I'm going to show you it now on the ground. But yeah, there are decent cars, these. The only thing I will say, like Suzuki and all the rest of it, just expect parts to be very expensive, which is hence why you see a lot of these cars look tatty. Not because people intentionally make them look tatty, it's because the parts are just that expensive. It's like when the cars aren't worth a lot of money, you cannot go spending. For example, I bet you that door trim from Subaru would be, he priced it, I guess 300 or 400 quid, just be insane. So yeah, we'll bring it down and I'll show you it from the top. Right, there we go, like magic, it's off the lift. So, just to walk around, I mean, a few things. These were very early cars on a 57 to have LEDs. This is where the very first started. This has only got LEDs for the fog light. But these were the very first cars you'll have seen. That was a couple, some of the Passats and that were starting to use them, where they started putting LEDs into mainstream lights. These were like a test for them. So yeah, I mean, again, it's the Outback, which is more... You've got the Forester, which is the more upright one, but I prefer these because they're just like a normal Mondeo sized estate car that can do everything you want them to do. But you know, you've got your proper Subaru, you know, twin pipes, proper kind of thing, you know, like the boots. Look at that, look at the size of that boot, you know, it's absolutely huge. Obviously the floor's not quite as deep as like the Mondeo is because it's four-wheel drive, you've got your diff and everything, so they can't be quite as low as what they could be if it was a two-wheel drive car, but that's the compromise you take for having four-wheel drive. But that is a very big boot. Again, obviously a functioning tow bar down there. Just is what, you know, they are what they are, you know. It's had little marks and stuff like that, but it's a working vehicle. This tape's on here mainly for the MOT, for any sharp edges. It's the only reason it's there, not for any other reason. No damage done. Door still opens up. But again, Subaru pillarless doors, priceless. I would buy this car just for the doors. I mean, how many other cars do you get with pillarless doors on a regular estate car? I think that, for me, is the buying point. In the back, loads of room, you know, as much room as what you would need. Loads of wait, down there. I mean, you've got, yeah, that's more than enough space compared to the Mondeo. It's actually, I would say, a bit more. You've got a bigger transmission tunnel, obviously. 4 electric windows, nice spec one. You know. Again, LED mirrors. Just the first times they were coming in using LEDs and door mirrors. Early days of it. Tax disc. I was just talking about them the other day. So when was that? 2015. It's 280. It'll probably be about 260 now, I would think. It'll either be 360 or 330. Just shows you. 360. So there you go. It's gone up more than £100 in, what's that? 7 years. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. These headlights, ducks back. He's coming back in to do a few jobs on it in a few weeks' time. We'll be doing the ducks back on those headlights. These ones, I think, will come up absolutely great because they're not that bad. New number plate on the front. There's a reason for that, because I broke it. Busy working on it. In my trousers, caught that corner and snapped his plate off. That was a couple of years ago now, so a nice new number plate. Again, Subaru Heritage. Massively over the top fog lights, which just comes from the Heritage. Again, good for being off-road, dark roads. It's what you want, isn't it? Some of the higher spec ones had xenons, this hasn't, but you've still got the projector lights. Again, new technology in 07. Diamond cut wheels, and do you know what it is? Well, how much hard work this thing does? They're actually in better nick than most cars that people look after. No idea why, but they are. That's a surprise. So onto the inside, there you go. When the window's down, pillarless door. Priceless. Cruise control, nice to see. You know, nice little feature there. You've got all your, obviously, electric windows. But again, I want to show you this, your dual range, basically low range. That's an optional extra for one of these. So you've got your low and high. 5-speed gearbox, manual. That's rare. Most of these are automatic, and they're quite problematic. Don't get many of these in a manual. You get a good sound system, climate control, all the rest of it, aircon, and obviously all your trip display. But apart from that, Subaru just keeps things really to a minimal. Your little parking light switch up there. And I don't believe, yeah, I'm correct, nice needle sweep there. Hasn't got many miles on, just clicked 80,000 mile. So relatively low mileage one. But yeah, there we go. Just thought I would show that. It's not the everyday kind of car we get in. Obviously 4 electric windows, electric mirrors. So yeah, any of yous in Australia or New Zealand, or I think they're quite common in America, if you know of, it doesn't have to be the right colour, and you know, a reasonable price, or if you've got one sitting in your garage, the door trim there. The main question is postage, which I would imagine probably costs a fortune. So I'm just going to quickly show you one last thing. In fact, I'm not, because I need to find my key. Right, one last thing. Actually, one thing today, guys, it's a special day today. It's the 14th of October. And what day is that? It's my birthday. 34 years young today. Just thought I would say that. In work mode, in YouTube mode. Totally forgot about it. So yeah, it's my birthday. Picking up my son from school at 3 o'clock. And just a regular night tonight, chilling. Tomorrow, I think we're going to go up into the hills, up to Kielder somewhere with the dogs, have a meal. Give them on Mondeo a bit of a drive. Holly's car's in next week, so she needs to take that to work, and I just have a little drive of it. So on a few roads up in the country near Kielder, just give her a little bit of a feel for it for taking it to work next week. And Sunday we're going out for an Indians in Whitley Bay. I forgot what the name is, but it's absolutely lush. We went there last week with the lads, and I've said to Holly, I said we might as well go back because she was so jealous of a few of the photographs I sent her. So there we go. Right, one last thing. Onto the Mondeo, the old Mondog. Just busy tidying up a few of these scabs on here. 2 of them were getting quite filled with water. I've just scraped the top of them off like blisters. That's what they are. touch-up pen, and I'm just going to put a bit of polish on. Total bodge job, guys. Preventative, not any other reason other than that. But you will notice, if you remember the state of the old indicators that were in here, just a complete faded mess, I've fitted the new ones. Not going to lie, like anything else aftermarket, they're a pain in the arse to fit. Not for any other reason. Now the alarm's going to go off. Just give us one moment. There we go. Just had to reset the... And I think they look marvellous. They're obviously full LED, but they're not just a one bulb. They're a sealed unit, and they're like a gull shape. Quite like that, and even in daylight, they are super bright compared to the other ones. Because this one wasn't working, if you remember rightly, because I broke it. So I'm really happy with them, and it only cost us about a tenner or something, 10, 12 quid. Happy with that. Just turn them off. Like I said, all I'm waiting for now is my Duracell batteries for the remotes, and what was it? Something else. Oh, for my front wipers. I've got a proper set of exact fit Bosch ones. I'll show you on next week's vlog. Let's just hope it's not raining tomorrow. And this back one are ridiculous. They're nearly £12 for these Bosch H727 or something. I found one on eBay for £7 on make an offer, so I've put a cheeky offer in for a £5 and see if I can get it, because that's just going to irritate me. Right, that's it, guys. I'm going to cut this here because it's probably gone on long enough. I've already got the second half of the vlog ready to upload, so thanks for watching. Please remember, if you enjoy this, hit the like. It really helps if you hit the like. It does help me channel analysis or whatever you call it. Leave a comment. I have just recently get back to all yous. I'm not joking you, just to show yous. If you look at the times when I've replied, not last night, but the night before, I think Thursday night, was it Thursday night? No, it would have been Wednesday night. I sat up till 2 o'clock in the morning replying to all of the messages to everybody. I do always reply to everybody. Just like I've said at the minute, there's been a few delays with things, so I apologise for that, but I always do get back to you. And if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe. It costs you no money, doesn't take up any of your time. I don't upload videos 3 and 4 times and 5 times every day, bombarding you with notifications. It's a couple of times a week. So please, and if any of your friends out there are interested in cars, just say Car to Garage North East, send them the link. Anything, write it down for them. It all helps. And I'm nearly at 2,000 subscribers, so we're not doing too bad. I will have more content coming, like I've mentioned. I've got a new garage, so I'm tempted to get a new car. There may be another car, quite a new one, coming onto the channel soon with a problem, but I don't know. It's 2016. Yeah, it's new. Possibly. I don't know. It just depends if the lady decides to buy a new car because she's inherited some money, and how much she wants for this. Even a 16 plate car with a fault may be a little bit more money than what I want to spend. I'm quite happy spending little money, and if the thing blows up, or because it's going to cost a fortune, to go bye-bye to the scrapyard. It's totally against my way, but naturally if that thing blew up, it would be going one way, scrapyard. Where when you've got a 16 plate car that you've paid thousands for, that's knackered. I don't know why, it doesn't ring right in my head. You might say you haven't got the balls to do it, Dan. It's like, well, yeah, I have, but I value money too much to actually spend, say, £5,000 on a knackered 16 plate car, for argument's sake, when I know what £5,000 could buy is. You know, I could probably get a whole car park full of these kind of cars, which all work perfectly fine and show good channel content. So I'm a little bit unsure, because she's going to get a new car, so naturally she's going to go in and get a Part X value for this car. Part X value is a salesman already making thousands of pounds on the new car that she's getting, and the salesman won't know what the fault is. So therefore, the fault that's on it, believe it or not, doesn't happen all the time. It drives perfectly fine. Just occasionally it cuts out dead on any given road. You can be in the fast lane on the M6 and it will just cut out for no reason. Could be injectors, could be anything. And I've heard the injectors on these are almost £700 or £800 each, and all of them can be broken to cause this. So yes, I know, we'll see how much it is, because naturally if she goes out to We Buy Any Car or goes to trade it in, they don't know that, so they're going to make an offer on that car as a perfectly running driving car, which, believe it or not, it is. But she may offer me it for a discounted value to know I'm going to take it on as a project and probably keep it myself. not going to give you any clues whatsoever to what it is. You probably guessed with injectors it's a diesel. That's the only clue I'm going to give you. But anyways, we'll leave it there. That's all high in the sky at the minute. May or may not happen. But I am just keeping my options well and truly open. I do fancy a newer vehicle on the fleet, as well as keeping the Mondeo to get over the winter. I've got the A6, ZX is off the road, and as you know, the ML's gone into storage. So at the moment at the door, all that is the A6 on the drive, Holly's car next to it, and the Mondeo across the road. Quite happy how I am, to be honest. So if this car does tend to come to be too much money, I'll probably just say trade it in. But what she doesn't want is hassle, because a lot of these garages now, not when they're giving you 500 quid for a banger, if they're giving you substantial money for a newer vehicle and they find there's faults, I think there's something in contracts now that can come back to you and get funny. And she's really, what's the word, like sensitive in that way. What's the word, like, she gets wound up easily and quite emotional and stuff like that. So I think she would probably just want it to go to somebody like me, where she knows she's getting no hassle. Like, there's the money, take the car, never hear about it again. She gets a new car, job done. Like, she's asked me to come along and look at a new car for her. I'm pushing that in the direction of a Toyota hybrid. She's got substantial money to spend, and I says if I was going to spend any money, it would be like my dad's RAV4, a Yaris hybrid, a CHR, a Corolla, whatever else hybrids Toyota are doing at the minute. I most certainly do push to that. They're future-proof, they're great cars, and I think that's what she wants to do, but she doesn't want all the bullshit that you get in the dealerships, and she's very aware of women who get, you know, victimised at these places, as well as old people, where they just go in and they just rip your eyes out. And I'm going to go along, like I've mentioned on my videos, I do offer this service for a small fee. If not, like I've said to her, I don't want any money, but I know she'll sort of something with her car. She always gets with something, brings in coffee and stuff like that. I'm going to go in, even in my own time, on a Saturday or a Sunday, and just pose to be her son or a friend or something like that, and just listen. Just basically, I class myself as the bullshit man. When the bullshit starts, I step in and say, look, the last one's the car. She doesn't want gap insurance. She doesn't want alloy wheel protection. She doesn't want a service plan. She doesn't want all that crap. Just let her have the car, let her pay, leave her alone, and get on with it, kind of thing. So that's another reason why she doesn't want the trade-in thing, because it's just a whole nother spoof of bullshit where they're checking her car, wanting to know this, wanting to know that, all the rest of it. And it's like, she doesn't want that. She just wants to pick a car she likes, walk in, there's the money to tax it, there's me insurance documents or whatever you need to give them, just the basics, and take the car away. No crap. No sitting you down asking you, do you want this, do you want that, we'll offer that, we'll give this, do that, we'll do that. None of that crap. Or when they start kind of getting funny with the price and stuff, she just wants somebody to step in like me. So anyways, enough babbling on. Just thought I'd show you guys a few things what I'm up to today. It is my birthday, 3 o'clock. I'm picking Charlie up, so we're going to get the Subaru done and MOT'd, get my dinner at the cafe, and that's it. Not much more to do today. Finish off doing what I'm doing to the Mondeo, and that's it. So please remember, if you've liked it, hit the like, leave a comment. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you on another video next week on Tuesday, which I'm sure will come around just like that. Catch you soon, guys.